2015 comes to a close with bursts of violence leading the police chief to say enough is enough. Chief James Craig is here. And everyone now seems to be talking about mental health care and its importance in society, but what is anyone prepared to do about it? Today is Sunday, January 3rd, 2016, and this is Flashpoint. Hi, welcome to Flashpoint and welcome to 2016. A very happy new year. I'm glad you're with us this morning. No one is going to try to convince you that Detroit isn't a violent city with far too much crime, but the numbers were actually looking better with just a few weeks to go in the year. Looked like 2015 was going to replicate 2014 when murders were down to their lowest number in 47 years. But then a surge of violence tilted things again in the wrong direction, and the shooting of 7-year-old Chanel Berry led a plainly exasperated police chief James Craig to ask, when are we going to stand up and say enough is enough? ISIS has killed far fewer Americans than Americans have themselves, and yet if it truly is the biggest concern among Americans in this upcoming election, well, that pretty much is the answer to Chief Craig's question, isn't it? It would appear we've decided this is just how it is in America in the early 21st century. Chief Craig is here to talk about that this morning. We're also going to be joined by the Chief Medical Officer of the Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority, Dr. Carmen McIntyre. Are we ever going to put mental health truly and meaningfully on the front burner? And then a little later on, John Gallagher back with us again from the Detroit Free Press. He's going to take us through the most exciting projects, big and small, on Detroit's drawing board for the new year. It's all coming up this morning on Flashpoint. Over the coming weeks, you're likely going to be seeing the statistical breakdown for crime in Detroit for the year of 2015, but you probably don't need the numbers to know crime is too high in our city. Some of it is grotesquely outsized, like last year's case of Michelle Blair, who kept the bodies of the children she'd killed in her freezer, or 2 emergency medical technicians being viciously attacked while on the job, or 10 people who were shot at a crowded block party, after which, I might add, no one came forward to help police figure out who done it. Joining me this morning, the Chief of Police for the City of Detroit, James Craig. Chief, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for coming.
Happy New Year to you, Devin. It's always a pleasure being here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I want to start with, it's because we will start, I'm sure, here in these coming weeks looking over statistics, but you, we were talking earlier, you've got an interesting take on, you can't be fooled. The murder numbers, as we look at them now, really don't compare to years past. You've got an interesting thought on why.
You know, I took a look at years past, and we're talking about during those times, we're talking like the 90s, when Detroit had in excess of 500 murders, 550 some years, high years. Yeah. And you look at cities like Los Angeles, where I was at during that same time period, 1,100 murders. 1,100, and you add, so now you look across the nation, and murders are really trending down everywhere. And now we're seeing a little uptick, but it's compared to the already low numbers. I mean, look at New York. New York has seen some upticks, but already considered one of the safest big cities in America.
But you've got an interesting caveat on why some of those numbers are down.
Definitely, and you would never hear a police chief or police department say this. We got to give credit, in part, to the great work by our medical professionals, those ER room surgeons, advancements in medical technology. There was a time, in that time period, I'm talking about in the 90s, the 80s, that if a person was suffered a gunshot wound to the head, likelihood of not surviving that. That's not the case today.
So it's probably more accurate to look at shootings rather than just murders.
Shootings. And,
to compare.
As we talked off air, you know, shootings, in my view, are just as critical as homicides because they're non-successful homicides. Unsuccessful homicides. If you look at it in that context.
That's exactly right, yes.
So we look at that, and you look at our shootings, our non-fatals this year, we've seen a decline, a steady decline from last year. We saw a little uptick second quarter of the year, third quarter somewhat, and then we started to trend downward. Numbers not big enough for me, both homicide, and while we reported out that we had seen the lowest number of homicides in 47 years, too many.
Is it because we have a much more intense media scrutiny than we used to have, social media spreading the word, there is video of so much more than there ever was before, that it just feels more violent than it used to?
You know, Devin, that's a great point. You know, statistics are statistics. I can wave them and say we've had a 30% reduction in robbery until you're a victim of a robbery. and you feel it's not so safe.
Then I'm a 100% victim of a robbery.
Exactly.
Right?
But what's more telling is what I'm told in the community when community members approach me, people visiting from other places like our neighbors in Canada, and they say, Chief, we feel safer. The city feels different. And to me, that's a better gauge of where we're going than me waving numbers around.
That said, your exasperation over the last couple of days, I think, was evident to everyone, especially with the, we saw this, the only way to describe it, most shootings, I think, to most of us are senseless. But this basically a dispute apparently between two old girlfriends is what this all sounded like it came down to. And it ended up costing the life of one child and probably forever changing the life of another child. And you said, when are we going to say enough is enough? We're not apparently there yet.
We're not. We're not, Devin, and it's gonna, and I said it in my remarks to a news conference, this is not about the police. I mean, we're just one component of this big picture. It is really about the we, about the us. When we say enough is enough, that's when change takes place. And we're not there yet. Because one thing that I know, I want to reflect back, and you look at Detroit and having this, you know, the most violent city in America. Have we become desensitized? Have we begun to accept that violence happens in Detroit and it's okay? I will tell you, that is not the way life should be.
In fact, you're echoing in some ways President Obama's thoughts after what happened in California, when he said, you know, thoughts and prayers are fine, but if that's the extent of what you're willing to do, then you're saying this is life. This is what we're willing to accept.
We can never accept. We should never accept. That's why I came out very vocal about the crime of carjacking. In most places, other big cities, it's an anomaly. But here it's almost accepted as routine.
Why can't we get a handle on carjackings?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We've seen, and this is the good part, you know, carjackings are robberies. We've seen double-digit reductions in robberies in the city of Detroit. I mean, going back to 2014, I think we were at about a 35% reduction compared to 2015, then about a 19% reduction compared to 2014. We're trending in the right direction.
Again, this feels outsized to us because we just a couple weeks ago we had a guy who was killed after he did everything that he was supposed to do, right?
Yes.
Giving them the car and, you know, allowing, and it got shot anyway.
So you go to the family. I spoke to the mother of that young man who was tragically murdered. We had a good talk, and she feels the pain and said, why didn't they just take my son's car? And it's those single incidents that drive fear. You know, I keep going back to the incident. You talked about the children in the freezer. Yeah. You talked about Dexter and Webb. Those incidents are what drive fear. It doesn't necessarily mean statistically crime is up, but it's those individual incidents that make people feel like, wow, you know, this is bad, it's dangerous, but statistically we're down.
Which is great. There are a couple of elements here, though, that continue to complicate your job, and one of them is drug policy. Because how many of the violent crimes that you have worked on this year had drugs at the heart of them in one way or another?
There's always, it tends to be more times a drug nexus, whether it was a unpaid drug debt, you know, narcotics being sold that weren't narcotics. There's some sort of nexus. That's not the only issue. Certainly one of the other things that I find troubling here is individuals' inability to make good decisions and not handling conflict in the right manner. That's a big issue here.
Well, the case with the little girls who were shot. This is not, it didn't seem to be a mental health issue where somebody saw red flags earlier. We're going to talk about mental health a little bit later. It's also not an issue that's connected to a world of crime where there were drugs involved or stolen property or some, you know, any of that sort of thing. This was just somebody decided the best way to solve my anger is to run home and get a gun, it seems.
Exactly. And then you
now, what do you do about that?
Well, and you know, we are doing things, and you know, when we talked off air about how do you repress a spontaneous event like that? Are there some telltale signs ahead that we can predict that this person in a given instance is going to commit a violent act? And I will tell you, very challenging. Now, there are some things we do and have done, like I've talked in the past about our boot camp focused on middle school age kids. Yeah. The bottom line is these young people, these children are coming from homes where their parents are unable to settle conflict. And so how does that child learn? And so it's a problem. I mean, you look at our schools, it's there. And then as police officers, we come in generally when? After the fact, we respond to, and it's too late.
Lastly, before I get to the break, and then we're going to add mental health care to this, guns remain an issue here, though. Many law enforcement authorities have their own very strong opinions on gun control. What do you think is reasonable gun policy?
Well, you know, I've said it in the past, and my position is consistent, steadfast, that law-abiding citizens who are trained and responsible, who are not no prior criminal records, certainly not having a history of suffering from mental illness, those individuals have the right to get a concealed pistol license. And can it make a difference if encountered?
Do you see that as being the system we have right now, though?
I'd say Michigan is one of the leaders. Right. Michigan. But a better question, and I've always said this, and this is the thing that really frustrates me, let's talk about keeping guns out of the hands of criminals and those suffering from the mental illness.
The mental illness portion of this is obviously an enormous one. We're going to add that to the conversation. We continue. This is Flashpoint on Local 4. We'll be right back.